utilizing to your students. So you'll have an interaction on that also. So this is my topic. So homeopathic pharmacy, the effective teaching strategies. And in the next few hours, I will be covering these areas like what is the status of homeopathic pharmacy. What I think we need to talk to our students that what is the place of homeopathic pharmacy in our BHMS. The educator's responsibility. We are all educators. And we are in the concerned department in homeopathic pharmacy. What will be our actual role in imparting the education? Next, I will be covering on creating the atmosphere. The classroom atmosphere is very important. Different basics of homeopathic pharmacy. Next comes one more important area. This is about making your presentation, making your classroom interesting. Some activity time with all of us, enlightening on future scopes, and some key messages. So these are the topics that started. What is the status of homeopathic pharmacy right now? That is what we need to tell our students. Students, they come in first year, and in UG, homeopathic pharmacy is one of the 5 subjects to be taught. So first of all, the students need to know what is the place of homeopathic pharmacy. The position is like this. We all know it appears that although it is a very important subject, but it appears that a little less importance is given to this subject by the students, by the policymakers, and it is termed as a preclinical subject. We all know the poor quality of teaching and examination process that existed in homeopathic pharmacy. As per my experience, I had seen. I don't know of how this is done in other states, but in my state, what is my example? As in, I had been examiner in different colleges of Eastern India, Northeastern India. So over there, what I found, the examination process is very poor. Even in the main exams, some questions are asked, but the supply exams is very poor. It is as if that we have to make them pass. So the question is like, name a medicine which is prepared from leaf, name a medicine prepared from seed, tell me the definition of homeopathic pharmacy, that means you get passed. So just by answering the definition of pharmacy and types of pharmacopoeia and giving example of homeopathic medicines, one from spider and one from snake poison, that doesn't basically make the proper concept of homeopathic pharmacy. So examination process, it long back from last 2 decades, what I am feeling, the examination process should be enhanced. Next, in exams, we have seen that focus is given on only few chapters. Suppose there are 3 examiners. All of them are asking from source of drug and different type of the scales, potentization, and classes of mother tincture with examples. Everyone is asking that question, but we had some other chapters but less importance is given to those chapters while evaluating, while assessment during the examination process as well in the viva. So this is what I feel. Many of you also have been feeling the same thing. In that way, we need to basically enhance our system. And no question, as I mentioned, no questions are asked on few specific areas. Some teachers, they don't ask even on standardization, legislation, but these are very important for homeopathic pharmacy. These all teachers say, okay, so what is the real importance of homeopathy? The knowledge of anatomy, physiology, the knowledge of allied science, practice of medicine, the knowledge of homeopathic principles, organon, or the knowledge of materia medica, the knowledge of community medicine, correlating the knowledge of homeopathy and the allied subject will all fail if the doctor is not provided with the genuine medicine. If our medicine is not collected from the right source, if it has not been potentized in a proper way, if the drug substance had some cheap alternatives substituted by similar looking substances, it will not work. So it is the role of this department to provide genuine medicines, because these genuine medicines are actually the weapons which will be required to treat the patient. So providing genuine medicine, genuine weapons, this lies on homeopathic pharmacy. So now comes the educator's responsibility. We are educators. What is our responsibility? These are the things what I feel. The doctor, the teacher should be passionate. It's not only for homeopathic pharmacy. Any teacher who is imparting education, be it in anatomy, physiology, organon, mathematics, he should be passionate. There should be the passion while delivering the subject. Issues of salary, the NCH, they have stated that there should be this kind of salary, and many people are not getting that salary. In government colleges also there might be a fixed salary, but there are some other problems also. But at the time of taking the class, those kind of things should not come to our mind. Our only focus should be on imparting the education as a sincere doctor, as a very dedicated teaching staff. And if there are more than one faculty members in the college, they should complement each other in some way. So that they should have proper discussions and they should complement in that way, so that the syllabus not only finishes right before the exams, and at the same time different assessments are also covered, so that we get the time to give the feedback to our students so that they can improve themselves, because it's a continuous process. And this is very important. One should enjoy the moment. While speaking as a resource person, one should enjoy. While speaking as a teacher in the class, while delivering, he should enjoy the moment. This should be one essential responsibility of the teacher. So, creating atmosphere is very important. It's like a field. A teacher goes into the class. There are various type of students, we know. Many students will come up that, today sir, we have a problem, sir, we are not willing to do class, sir, please let us allow us to go. Or there are sometimes political issues, there are influence, the students union come and request the teacher if the class can be cancelled. Or there are some meetings, even there are some like doctors going to other assignments. So there are many kind of disturbances. We have 100 hours of class in theory, 110 hours of practical, but sometimes it happens even though that limit is difficult to reach. So teacher should have the role of a referee. You have seen football matches, 22 players, then there are substitutes, that number is much more if you total the two teams. And then there is a huge number of spectators. Who is controlling the thing? The referee. One mistake can cause a riot. One mistake can cause disturbance. So very carefully one has to do. The teacher has to be very affectionate to every individual. But how can it be controlled? I have found in class, the students keep on talking like that. So what I think find interest, and they will get involved in the total program. So these are certain things that is why I kept the name effective teaching strategies. Whatever by experience what I found are doing well, which are working, that is what I am sharing. And you all senior teachers or my juniors, you also are basically following many strategies, which I will of course love to listen from you. So these are different strategies, and together we can make, in that way we can follow the things. This is very important. Now this concept has changed. There is no one like front bencher or nobody like back bencher. So in that way they are arranging the classes. So everyone is important. Nobody is, it is mentioned that we should not give too much importance to someone, so others will feel bad. Everyone is our like children. We have to give importance to everyone. Affection and care should be looked after for everyone. But the main thing is controlling the class, just like a referee, should be in our hand. Okay. Next comes the attitude of the educators. What it should be. We all know that in mythology we'll find that in earlier days, those who wanted to learn, they used to go to gurukuls, to ashrams, and over there the life was very hard. Even a small mistake, the guru, the sage, they used to give a big punishment. We have seen in stories. So that was a kind of education. So that made the student very alert so that they don't make a mistake. The same thing we find even in Chinese mythology. I was just going through different articles. So what there it is written that in Asia, wherever there is old civilization, in Indian civilization, in Chinese civilization, this kind of things are there. In Chinese films, old films, you will find that they are going to some just temple over there. The monk is there. The monk is teaching them martial arts, and their life is very hard. For a slight mistake, they will not be basically allowed, and they are punished like that. So this is one way of teaching. The student becomes very alert, and he never commits the mistake in the real scene when it is required. And there is one more other system which is different from this, where there is relaxation. In European or American way of teaching, if the teacher scolds, if the teacher tells something to the student, if the teacher in some way tells the student to be alert, it is taken as if the teacher is humiliating, as if the teacher is against the right of the student. In European countries, this is there. The rule is very strict. So you have to teach in some other way over there. So what should be our motto? What attitude we should follow? So homeopathy we know is based on individualistic approach, individualization. The diet that we are following, now the concept has come that you cannot tell that everyone should get same medicine, so individualistic approach is there. In that way, for if the 10 people are suffering from same disease and getting different medicines, and they are suffering from same disease, that doesn't mean that they have to be given the same diet restrictions. In that case also, individualization is coming on. If somebody has allergy to certain substance, that should be removed. So in diet also, individualistic approach is seen. So my point is, while teaching, we should have a balance. For some students, we have to teach them, and in some cases, there are some students where we need to show a little love and affection. Only this will help to improve their performance. So for some students, we have to be very, very strict, and for some students, depending on their nature, we have to be little relaxed. Suppose some students are like pulsatilla. If we become very strict to them, that will basically hamper their performance. Mentally, they will be little broken up. And on the other side, if we show relaxation to the students, what good, but creating nuisance, then also they will just think taken for granted, as if they are taken for granted. So in that way, we have to do a balancing act. That is what I feel. So there are two ways. One is traditional way, one is the modern way. It can be strict attitude, it can be relaxed attitude. To this individualistic approach as the specialty of homeopathy, that can be followed in teaching in our classroom. Next comes the presentation, I mean the actual class. If in seminars, sometimes there are some the speakers, when the speech is very monotonous. So there is mobile right now. So the moment somebody thinks that whatever the session is going on is not interesting, the mobile is there. So they will pick up the mobile and start browsing. They will take information. Somebody is interested in sports, somebody is interested in stock market, somebody is interested in entertainment. So accordingly they will do it. Next mail will come, and in WhatsApp lots of messages will come, and he will just get away from the lecture and get an attractive presentation in the. We need to make our class very interesting. Inaudible voice, slurry speech, monotonous, just same speaking. Look, this is the definition of pharmacy. So pharmacy is an art and science of eye. We have to be very cautious on that. Our present planning should always be done. Now there were this kind of discussions in WhatsApp group of pharmacy teachers that whether there should be lesson planning. No, NCHS said no need of lesson planning, and then said there should be lesson planning. Those there were difference in opinion. So what is the thing? Forget it. Whether NCHS said lesson planning should be done, or for assessment we have to show lesson planning in that way, in that following the template. Forget it. We need to do a proper planning, because without planning we can't be successful. Planning should be done. How this 1 hour has to be divided. How we have to do? For anything we plan in advance. So planning is a must. Our classes are of 45 minutes or 60 minutes duration. So we have to first decide how I am going to present today. Whether it will be a oral presentation or I will take a PowerPoint. What kind of audiovisual aids will I follow? Next comes the weightage to every aspect. There are plenty of things in our class, so many things. So we have to give equal weightage and importance to every section of our class. First is things covered and learned so far. So mega serials go on in every language. There are mega serials going for years. So for any serial, when you start, for first 2 minutes they show what happened till yesterday, and then they say ab aage, from now it will go on. So our motto will be inside the class, in 1-2 minutes we have to tell what we have taught. So communication. So in first reaching the class, in first 2 minutes we have to tell what has been discussed so far, and if there is any problem in understanding those areas, maybe they have to be addressed to those individual students. So things learned so far, if the students find, if the teacher finds that almost all his students are quite competent, they have learned the things whatever has been in geography. So his share. Next, Bhavita. Yes. What are the medicines in Pico film? Those 3 or 4 drugs have been mentioned in that film. Very good. Briny had been mentioned. Very good. So my point is, madam, very good. Okay. Okay. Right. There is one more film of Rani Mukherjee and Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, in Chalte Chalte, where Shah Rukh Khan tries to inspire Rani Mukherjee that if you marry and if you have a child, and if that child gets ill, I know a little bit of homeopathy. I can treat your child. Okay, Rani Mukherjee. Okay, Shah Rukh Khan tells Rani Mukherjee that homeopathy pharmacy with these areas to bring the student into the arena of homeopathy. He is not finding interest. Bring him to films. Bringing him back to sports, entertainment, computer coding AI. There is one homeopathic stalwart. Now we know that machine learning, coding, AI, these are going on everywhere. Can you tell me the name of the homeopathic stalwart who was basically involved in this kind of activities because he was in the defense? Please, can you tell me the name? Anyone? Not Screens, not Freddy Screens, not Vitolkas, not Vitolkas. He was von Korsakov. Von Korsakov. Yes, in Russia he was working in the police department and he was part of the intelligence section. Long back he has created works, he has done learning, and through we can connect. Okay, homeopathy begins. That tree is the national tree of Peru. So by quizzing that way, we have to create it. So what I find, I study in that way, and I try to impart education in this way, which I find the student finds interesting, and in that way they get interested in homeopathic pharmacy. In geography too, we will find. Okay. So these are the things we need to see which we need to find out where the student is interested. We need to explore the thing, and in that way we can create interest in our subject and bring back to our classroom. Apart from those areas, whatever we are presenting, some students are very much attracted to the text, whatever we are writing. Some are not attracted to the text. In this slide, if there is no picture, they will not find interest. So some video clips or images has to be given in our presentation. Next comes colors. Some are very attracted to colors. Some are attracted to sound. So video clip with sound has to be installed. We have to find out what can draw the attention of our student. We need to create that attention in our students. So delivery of a presentation, if done through PowerPoint, it should be framed in that way. Now comes the biggest challenge in imparting education. Sir, what do you think is the biggest challenge in the classroom? what is the biggest challenge right now according to you? It may differ from me, but in addition to my whatever I think, it might be that your that point you are mentioning, that can also be an important challenge. What is, madam, what do you think is the biggest challenge right now?
Interest of the student. The whole student will not be the same kind of learning.
Okay, so different kind of students. Okay, next, what are other challenges you face?
They want to learn only to pass the exam.
Yes, very true, very true. They are not, they don't have that interest to go deep into the subject. Only for getting 50, whatever is needed, they will do in that way. Very good, right, madam? I agree with your point. Sir, any other challenge that you are facing while teaching?
Student is not interested in the homeopathic pharmacy. They are interested to anatomy and physiology. They are
Right, sir.
concentrated in the anatomy and physiology.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. That is why in my first slide I said that in the beginning, right in the beginning, we have to. Exactly. Because this mental setup is going on for long, that pharmacy is only related to pharmacist and dispensing. That is why I said that manufacturing drug, drug delivery, introduction of new drugs, quality control, standardization, these are also very important pillars of homeopathic pharmacy. And one needs to change this mental setup. And we can change the mental setup of our students if we impart right from the beginning in that way. This is the biggest challenge, ma'am. Reducing attention span.
Because of this
Exactly.
Instagram.
Mobile is all with everyone. So if they find, even in conferences this happen, even in conferences, if the speaker speech is monotonous, if the audience find that no new information is being shared, right at that moment the mobile is in hand, they will start browsing, they will just checking the messages and that. So reduced attention span, even if you teach properly, still that impulse, that temptation is so much that they will move away from your class and they start hiding their mobile, they will check the mobile. Sound is coming that.
नहीं ये चालू कर रहे हैं ना इसीलिए
ओ अच्छा करना है ना, ठीक है
मुझे लगा फिर से अभी बंद हो जाएगी लाइट तो इसलिए खुला रखा
अच्छा ठीक है
Is also one of the challenge. If light is going, power point is stopped, teacher is stopped, student are loudly singing. Teacher do not stop at that time. Continue speaking.
Okay, thank you, sir. So after a slight technical reasons, let's get started once more. So this is one thing which shows that attention span is getting reduced in human being, and this graph shows how much attention with the duration of time is in. In the first 10 seconds, they say after first 10 seconds of any speech, 90% people are there into the lecture. That means in 10 seconds, 10 people are away from the lecture. In 10 seconds. And after 5 minutes, only 10 people are in the lecture. Rest 90 people have gone. Just see how it happens. Audience attention span. Moving on. Hello. Okay, sir, I can start now. Most probably sound is not coming. Okay. हो गया. हेलो.
Yes, sir.
Hello. It's okay now. Yes, it's okay. Thank you. So let's begin once more. So this is one very important slide. This shows that the ever-reducing attention span of humans. In the year 2000, the average was 12, and it's getting reduced. In 2013, it has been recorded to be 8.25 seconds, and 8.25 means it is even lower than a goldfish. That was in 2013. So now, right now, we know at 2025 might be it is much more reduced to from 8.25 to 7.75 or like 8. So this is the scenario. So how this can be tackled? We know there are many Japanese techniques, ikigai, then Pomodoro techniques, Haribuchi, all these Japanese words, Japanese philosophies. The pharmacy, branches of pharmacy, break, interaction. Next we'll go to the scope of pharmacy, like that. So 10 minutes of extensive lecture and 3-4 minutes of break. That we followed once again a phase of 10 minutes of lecture followed by 3 to 4 minutes of break. So in that way we can divide our thing. This is the Pomodoro technique that can be followed to make our classes interesting. Next, we need to see how we can improve, how we can enhance and increase the attention span. Meditation, we have to guide our students in every way. So all-round development is required. So we need to guide our students in this way, that exercise, meditation, staying away from social media, proper right hours of sleep, staying hydrated, active listening is important. At the same time, this is very important, taking notes. This happened 3 decades back. Students used to write in papers. Now they just text, they just type. Typing is doing harm. Or they just check they just get a PDF notes and they just read over there. That will not do. Writing, taking notes, this has proper connection with the brain, and that will help to improve and grasp and retain whatever is being taught in the class. So these are ways we also need to guide our students on these areas, so that their attention improves and they remain attentive in our classes. To bring back attention, what we can do, as I said, I had showed you the slide where we found after 10 seconds, 90% people are there. After 10 minutes, almost 90% are gone. So we can set the reset button. After 10 minutes, we can ask question. After 10 minutes, we can have discussion. That is why the Pomodoro technique has been divided in that way. 10 minutes of deep focus, 3-4 minutes of gap. In those 3-4 minutes, we are basically resetting the thing. So 10 minutes of extensive study and 3-4 minutes of gap for resetting the thing. They will once again return back. If you don't press the reset button, then after 10 minutes it will be gone. After 1 hour, they will completely forget what has been discussed in the class. This is very interesting, and you might all be knowing the thing, that how we retain after 2 weeks, what we retain, what process do we adopt. If we read, we remember only 10% of thing after 10 weeks. These are part of education methodology, and I know many of you have undergone training in education methodology. So this is a slide that is quite familiar to you. We remember 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see. So we have to show something so that it increases. 50% of what we see and hear, that means we have to show, and at the same time we have to deliver in PowerPoint the thing that we do. 70% of what we say, that means now we have to allow the students to speak You have seen the slide, I have shown you picture, I have given some text, together you have seen, now you speak. Give your views, it may be wrong. But if the student is encouraged to do this, he or she will remember 70% of what was said on that day. And 90% of what he himself does, that is can be recollected even after 2 weeks. So this is very important. So in that way, doing a dramatic presentation or simulation of real experience, doing the real thing, this should be our ideal. In that way, we can basically design our classes. This is one important statement of Confucius. One has to show only PowerPoint presentations. Even oral lecture is sufficient, but that oral lecture should be interesting. The student should find. How can the classroom atmosphere be made interesting? There should be surprise, what I think. There should be surprise. There should be suspense. If there is no suspense, then they will not remain. Their attention will just, they will miss out the thing. The events that strike the mind, in that way, we have to give information, facts, interesting events that should be shared. Some related stories are to be mentioned in the classroom. Everybody loves to hear stories. So in short, in just 5 minutes, we have to deliver a story which is related to that particular topic. And finally, we have to give some group work which will improve the thing. So these are the points that I think which can enhance the concentration of our students. Now coming to CBBC syllabus. There are lots of questions, whatever is there are lots of questions regarding teaching hours, regarding topics. Now the thing is, 20 years back, what I found, the syllabus has changed from there. Earlier also, the syllabus was something, there were doubts, even I had questions that why this kind of instruments are there, why these chapters are there which are not relevant. So anyhow, it's a long continuous process. There are still options to open up, new things can be included. Some old topics have been removed right now, and very important new areas of exploration have been included. But we are all students in homeopathy pharmacy, we didn't learn about pharmacovigilance. There was nothing like ADR in that time, but these are relevant things. That is why they are included. We need to know about drug action. We need to know the molecular mechanism. We need to know the recent developments which are taking place in homeopathic pharmacy. So that is why that topic has been included. And before teaching the students, sensitization of teachers or pharmacovigilance, on ADR, on drug action, I didn't know all these things. But right now I am learning the things. Molecular mechanism, on nanomedicine, still I don't know, don't have clear idea about nanomedicine, but I am learning the thing. So we should all remain open in the sensitization programs or faculty development programs through this kind of seminars or this kind of CMEs. We can uplift ourselves, and in that way we can basically impart those new things which have been included in our syllabus. So the thing is, it will get more perfect with time. Whatever the syllabus currently stands, it will not be after 10 years, after 10 more changes. A doctor, a homeopathic pharmacy faculty member should go through all textbooks in the market. All textbooks. I have found, when I was very junior, I found like X book, in book of X writer, some chapters were excellent, but some chapters were not so much informative. And in some Y writer's book, I found those 3-4 chapters were nicely mentioned. So one doctor, one pharmacy teacher, in order to develop himself, what I think, he should go through all the homeopathic pharmacy books which are available in the market. Along with that, he should study the reference books. I will, in my picture, that reading material that I am going to distribute over there, I have given names of 5-6 reference books, where we get interesting informations which are very much related to homeopathic pharmacy, get ideas which are correlating with homeopathic pharmacy. It can be found, and in that way I study all sorts of books. I found interesting examples in many cases, and I correlate my pharmacy teaching of pharmacy, pharmacopoeia, source of drugs, drug preparation, standardization, legislation with all what I have seen in reference book, journals, newspapers, and other books. Coming on to lecture classes, the format should be, I have mentioned that earlier, I have mentioned that what should be a time frame, how should we, that should include a proper planning, that should include the facts, the informations. Now there is a thing in learning technology or education methodology, it is mentioned that earlier the homeopathy facts and informations and important years and important names of stalwarts. Earlier it was the scenario. So now after inclusion of CBTC, after introduction of CBTC, they say those are less important. So what is more important? More important is the practical utility and its applied importance, the application, how your real life situation. This is what is mentioned by the policymakers, by the people who are related to education technology. My point is, we should remember facts. We can't get away with facts. We should remember facts. We should remember important years. We should remember important works which have been committed by the stalwarts. Along with that, we have to know what is its practical utility and application in real life situation. Together, we have to prepare our design for a certain topic. So, coming on to semester 1, I will take up these topics one by one. One is research scope. In the beginning, we need to tell our students about what so much research papers published. Still, there is question whether homeopathic medicine basically consists of any therapeutic agent. So that is one we have to do. That is the first research. Whether our homeopathic potencies are having any substance which has therapeutic value. It is present there in mother, but in high potencies, still we can't prove. That is one area. Next, we have to show it is curing as a single medicine based on the law of similars. Because already there are all these combination medicines in the market, all these patent medicines in the market. Along with single homeopathic medicine, there are some doctors who apply a biochemic medicine and a mother tincture. This is also against homeopathy. There are doctors, along with single medicine, they give patent and combinations and tonics. This is also against homeopathy. So what is working over there? Whether the single medicine or the tonic is just suppressing the thing. Or there may be a doctor is prescribing 10, 15, 18, 20 potency medicines together and they are taking it together. Or even it has been seen that 5 drops, 10 drops of 3 different potency medicines are being mixed. So this is also one area of research. First, we have to see whether there is any therapeutic thing in the potency medicines. Next, we have to find out whether these mixtures are working or homeopathy has mentioned by Dr. Hahnemann as per law of similars. The single medicine, when in minimum dose is being given, without employing these patents, combinations or any other medicine, that is working. We have to show. Because this is very important. Next is, our studies should be done in that these patents, combinations or together when so many medicines are being given, actual cure is not taking place. But we have to prove the thing. We have to prove the thing. In that way, we can design our research programs. Agro-homeopathy, veterinary homeopathy, yesterday those areas had already been mentioned. So I will just mention on this veterinary homeopathy the events. I will share very interesting events on there. In veterinary homeopathy, what we see, recently the name of Amul was in limelight because they had introduced a new range of veterinary homeopathy products, isn't it? But what are those products? They are just combinations. They are combinations. Maybe they are telling that that has worked out, but that is not real homeopathy. Even with single medicine, just like we can treat humans, even with single medicine, we can treat animals. I am giving you examples. In 1813, the homeopathic literature says that Dr. Hahnemann had a horse, and that horse suffered from eye infection, recurrent eye infections, and Dr. Hahnemann had treated that horse with causticum 6 in 1813. In 1815 in Leipzig, Dr. Hahnemann in a seminar tells that in order to use homeopathy for animals, we have to prove our drug on different animals. In Organ and Fifth Edition, Hahnemann says when you have to treat human being, drug proving should be done on human being. Based on findings on proving a drug on animals, It should not be applied on human being. That is the point. But in order to treat a cow, it has to be proved, the drug should be proved on a cow and see the changes. In order to treat a horse, it has to be proved on a horse. So this is what has Hahnemann said in 1815. Later on, Dr. Bonninghausen came on and he designed, structured in a proper way about veterinary homeopathy. He had written books, how these high potencies are working in animals, you might be knowing. In one ROTP program, I remember, I like to share these things. These are new information. Dr. Shamir Bhattacharya is a very renowned doctor. He was associated with National Institute of Homeopathy. Over there, he says that from history, from books, it is found Dr. Constantine Herring had treated ox suffering from abnormal sex is the thing. So homeopathy, single medicines do work. And later on, in one journal of homeopathy heritage, Dr. Farooq J. Master, he had mentioned wonderful cases where he had treated the animals with single medicine. I'd like to tell one, these are very interesting. So we should forget these combinations will not work. It will not work for human. It is not even for animals. Maybe they are palliating, they are suppressing. Single medicine will work. How he had treated? Farooq J. Master says that in his initial practice, he used to go to the race course. Over there were horses, and we found that horses have colic pain in abdomen from infection of bowel. And when they have this problem, the horses, they demonstrate in two ways. There are two ways. Their postures are shown in two ways. In one case, they just stretch their forelimbs and hind limbs, and the other horses, they just lie down and they bend double. So based on this, it was asked what happened in the last 2 days, what were the activities done. So he said, I took my dog to a park. Over there, it met a German Shepherd. Both of them started barking. German Shepherd, it barks with a louder sound. My Pomeranian, it also barked, but after that, it returned home and it became shy and stopped eating and it's not sleeping properly. So Dr. Farooq J. Master's understanding was, this was a kind of dishonor. This was a kind of wounded pride. Based on that Pomeranian was given Staphylococcus aureus, and after 2-3 days the behavior of the dog changed. So that is my point. There is wonderful things that we can do in veterinary homeopathy, but with single medicine when it is possible, why we will go for those 10, 12, 15 drugs given together in some potency? Single medicines can do. So that is why research has to be done. Homeopathy is what Dr. Hahnemann and his disciple had said. Everyone had said that no combination, no patent, no mixtures, only single medicine will do. So whatever is there in the market in the name of homeopathy, that is not homeopathy. But by research, we have to show that single medicine is doing actual cure. Potency medicines given together or potency medicine along with mother or biochemic or patent and combinations, they are just suppressing or palliating the thing. Sports medicine to homeopathy, wonderful field is there. As I mentioned, sports medicine is there. This I would like to mention over here. It's a very interesting thing. In sports medicine, what is important? The importance is the level of endurance. In a short span, they have to run, they have to fight, they have to do boxing, all these things. So in short span of time, the endurance, the strength of the muscle strength of breathing apparatus, the muscle strength of the limbs, these are very important. So one military personnel was very interested in homeopathy. He went to homeopathic literature, and what he found over there, it is written in Dr. Clark's Metra Medica, it is written that arsenic is the medicine which increases the endurance, which increases the muscle power of the limbs and of the breathing capacity, and that is the thing which is required for boxers. So this is not as per Similia Scaventor. It was a routine prescription done by that military doctor. He prescribed arsenic 6 to the boxers, and what he found, the Gorkhas are much better. They are much more skilled. So when there was inter-military games, he found his boxers were doing much better than the Gorkha boxers after taking arsenic 6. You know of doping. Earlier in the 1970s and 1980s, the Soviet bloc, that is the communist countries, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Russia, East Germany, they had introduced this doping. They had introduced, what they did, for the sports person, they used to draw the blood out. And a team of doctors used to visit the Olympic site and just before their event, that super oxygenated blood, oxygen is to added to the blood, and that super oxygenated blood was infused in the person. So that used to give extreme strength. So one has to run. Just 12 seconds is enough for running 100 meters. 1 minute is enough for running 5,000 meters like that. So for that limited period, they used to get super energy by introducing super oxygenated, hyperoxygenated blood. Now homeopathy also helps in that, but that's not doping. By vanadium 6x and ferrum metallicum 6s, we can increase the hemoglobin content of our blood. It has been studied. So these are areas through where our homeopathy medicine can help the sports persons. Plenty of things are there, plenty of things. Usha, PT Usha, she basically was living athletics. In 1986, we know at that time we didn't get so many medals. Right now we are getting so many medals in Asian Games and Olympic Games. But I remember in 1990, we got only one medal, that was only in Kabaddi. In 1986, we got 5 golds. Out of those 5 golds, 4 golds were won by PT Usha. But in 1985, PT Usha was almost living athletics. She returned just because of homeopathy. She went to London, she consulted the doctor said you have to do operation in your limbs, but it doesn't ensure whether you will be back to track. So one Dr. Abdul Aziz of Kerala had treated PT Usha, and she was back in track, and now it's history. In 1986,